Hello friends, welcome to YT Books Readers. Today we're going to talk about How to Think Strategically by Greg Githens. James was an ordinary guy. He didn't live in a big city, but in a small town. He wasn't exceptionally smart in school, nor was he weak. People called him hardworking, but they often added, he works hard, but he doesn't really think. James usually stayed quiet when he heard this. Deep inside, he also believed that maybe some people are born smart and some people just aren't. Big words like strategic thinking felt heavy to him, something meant only for books, boardrooms, and big CEOs. After college, James got a job at a small company. His work was routine, entering data, preparing reports, and doing exactly what he was told. Same routine, same deadlines, same pressure. At first, he believed that if he just worked hard, he would eventually move ahead. He arrived at the office before everyone else, stayed late, and took on extra work. But 2 years passed, and his position stayed exactly the same. Around that time, a new employee named William joined the company. William usually left the office on time. He didn't do much overtime. Yet slowly, William began getting more responsibilities. One day, James couldn't hold it in anymore. He asked William, "Man, what do you do differently? Why does the boss trust you so much?" William smiled and said, "I don't just do the work. I think about why the work is being done and what happens next." That sentence stayed in James's mind. For the first time, he realized that hard work alone might not be enough. Maybe the way you think matters just as much. That evening, while riding the bus home, James replayed his entire day in his head. He noticed something important. He treated every task like an instruction. Do exactly what he's told. Nothing more. He never asked himself, how does this help the company? Can this be done better? A few days later, a problem came up at the office. Clients started complaining that reports were being delivered late. The boss was frustrated and asked everyone to work overtime. James stayed late just like always. But this time, William's words came back to him. He asked himself, why are the reports late? Is it just workload? Or is the process broken? He quietly started observing. Soon, he noticed the real issue. Data was coming from different people in different formats. A lot of time was being wasted converting everything into a single standard format. James had an idea. It wasn't brilliant or complex. It was simple. He created a basic template. The next day, he went to his boss and said, "Sir, if we ask all clients to send data in this format, we can finish reports much faster." At first, the boss didn't pay much attention. But when James calmly explained how it would save time and reduce errors, the boss agreed to try it. Within a few weeks, client complaints dropped. For the first time, the boss mentioned James's name in front of everyone. That day, James felt something different. He realized he hadn't done anything extraordinary. He had simply understood the situation, broken the problem down, and thought through a solution. That's when it hit him. Strategic thinking isn't magic. It's a way of thinking, and it can be learned. After that, James started experimenting on himself. In every situation, he began asking himself 3 questions. Why is this work being done? What will be the long-term impact? Is there a better way to do it? At first, it felt uncomfortable. His mind kept trying to fall back into old, lazy patterns. But just like muscles are trained in the gym, James started training his mind. Later, the company decided to target a new client segment. The team was confused. Everyone was just guessing. James quietly studied past data and trends. Then he said, if we start with smaller clients, the risk will be lower and we can test our process first. Again, it wasn't rocket science. It was simply structured thinking. The plan worked. Slowly, James's confidence began to grow. He finally understood something important. Strategic thinking is not something you're born with. It's a skill, and skills grow with practice. Just like daily walking builds stamina, daily thinking builds clarity. One day, James met his old friend Mohan. Mohan often said, "I don't have a business mind. That stuff is for smart people." James smiled because not long ago he believed the same thing. He shared his story with Mohan. He explained how he once worked hard without direction, and how everything changed when he started asking questions. Mohan asked, "So you're saying strategic thinking can be learned?" James replied, "Absolutely. It's not talent. It's a skill, and skills come from practice." James also realized that strategic thinking doesn't always mean making big, complicated plans. Sometimes it simply means stepping back and seeing the whole picture, pausing before reacting, making decisions based on logic, not emotion. Once, when budget cuts were discussed at the office, people panicked. Some started blaming each other. James stayed calm and asked himself, what does the company really need right now? Stability. He suggested focusing on improving efficiency instead of just cutting costs. The boss liked this approach. If you're enjoying our free summaries, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, join our membership, or support us via UPI. Now let's continue. People now started calling James a smart thinker. But James knew the truth. Nothing magical had changed inside him. Same person, same background, same limitations. The only difference was that he had learned how to think. One evening, sitting on his rooftop, surrounded by the same old streets and sounds of his small town, James reflected. If strategic thinking were only for born geniuses, he wouldn't be where he was today. He realized that most people fall behind not because they lack intelligence, but because they believe they can't think strategically. Sparkle, sparkle, sparkles. The truth is, the brain is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. James also understood that strategic thinking isn't just for careers. It's for life. He began applying it to his personal life as well. Thinking before spending money, managing his time better, connecting long-term goals with short-term actions. Slowly, his life became more balanced. Today, when James looks at new interns, he doesn't just teach them how to work. He teaches them how to think. James didn't just teach interns how to work. He taught them how to ask questions. He would often say, "What you see on the surface is never the full truth. Go deeper." He genuinely enjoyed it when an intern looked at a problem from a new angle for the first time. Through this entire journey, James learned one simple truth. Strategic thinking is not a gift.